Hey guys, welcome to DevOps School. In this video tutorial, we are going to learn about AppDynamics.
But before we begin, let me inform you few things about us. DevOps School is one of the leading platforms which offers DevOps, cloud and containers technology training and certification programs for freshers and established professionals who wish to update and consolidate their skills in the dynamic IT scenario. We ensure that the training solutions are delivered by highly experienced domain experts with practical working experience in various verticals. Check out the dates and enroll with us for our upcoming batches. For more info, link and contact details are mentioned in the description below.
So today we are going to get into the world of APM, and APM means here we discuss about applications performance management. So there are certain questions which you need to answer before getting into the APM sessions. And the first question you should ask yourself about the projects, and that is like, are we measuring real end user experiences on our website today? Let me put it up in this way. If you are working in the AppDynamics or if you're working for the APM, basically we do not do this kind of monitoring in the pre-production. Okay, we do not do that. We do in the productions only. So your application should be running in the production. It can be of any technology, it can be of any platform. It could be Java, .NET, C++, Python, C++, or C#. It can be a platform like Windows, Linux. It can be a cloud, private cloud, public cloud. It can be a container. It can be virtual machines. Irrespective of where you are running this application, but it should be running in the production. So in that context, you have to ask questions, and that is like, are we measuring real end user experiences on your website today? Are we meeting customers SLA? Yes, no, not sure. Do we have underperforming regions? Regions means, see, you run application in the multiple regions, right? For HA, multiple availability zones. So do we have any regions where request time is more? Let's say you are running some applications and USA people can browse faster and India people cannot browse faster. So do we have any underperforming regions for it? Do we have a web performance plan in a place to correct those problems? Yes, no, not sure. Is your site delivering a consistent user experience regardless of browser type? Okay, so you are running your application in the production servers. Customers may experience that applications from Chrome, Firefox, IE, and Opera, different operating system like Windows, Linux, or Mac, different devices like a mobile, pad, or laptop, or desktop. Different ISPs providers, different bandwidth. So is your site delivering a consistent user experience regardless of browser type? Do we know how our website response time and availability compares with our competition? Let's say Ola versus Uber, or ICICI Bank versus HDFC Bank, or let's say what Amazon versus Flipkart, correct? So do you know that what is your competitor's response time when end user access their website? What is their response time? What is your response time? So can we quantify how third-party technology and services such as ad networks and payment processes are impacting your site performance? Can we monitor and troubleshoot problems of your mobile app using the same APM tool we use for our web application? So what is the answer for you? Yes, no, not sure. If you are having yes answer, that means you don't need to learn AppDynamics, because you don't need to be in this session, because anyways you are doing it. If you don't know, no or not sure, then I think the sessions will be useful for you. So the question is, very important questions for the session is, what is response time of my request? It's all about APM. What is the response time of my request? So see, look at this here in this image. Your applications may be running with a multi-tier applications, multiple database, multiple web front, multiple app front, some business logic, some CDN, this, that, and all, some different gateways, and different devices, different browser, and one user is getting the response time in 300 milliseconds. another user is getting the response time in 7.5 seconds. What is your job then? Your job is to find out why the response time for few users or certain users is 7.5 seconds, and that is all about it. Your objective of this session is to find out why there are some requests which is taking longer than the other requests. What are the root cause of it? Why 7.5 seconds? How to find it culprit for it? Is it a problem with the JVM? It's a problem with the application server? Is it a problem with the code? Is it a problem with something else? You need to find out what is the problem which is taking that this response time 7.5 seconds. So that's your objective of this session actually. Are you sure? Sure about it?
Yeah, I'm following Raj. So I actually extensively used the Dynatrace, but I'm very new to AppDynamics. So I'm following, like, I'm correlating things. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's your objective. Where is the problem? There are so many data source from where you can find out where you can find out the information and find out the culprit who's responsible for it. So the question is why the performance is very critical. This is a survey done in USA, which states like 1 second delay in response time can reduce conversion by 7%, page views by 11%, and customer satisfaction by 16%. So this performance is very critical for the website. Again, another survey, more than 51% of online consumer in the US said that site slowness is the top reason they would abandon a purchase. That's another reason for it. Third survey, which states when online service fails, 75% of the consumer move to another channel, which can lead to millions of lost in dollar. So the question is how to monitor distributed performance monitoring, because your applications is running in a distributed manner nowadays. Okay, so that process is called application performance monitoring, APM. So now what is APM? So at a high level, APM is nothing but a certain tools, collections of tools, certain processes, certain matrices you combine together and to find out the benchmark for your application performance. Okay, that is a APM. Okay, so this is a process using certain tools, certain processes, certain matrices, certain inputs and outputs. You find out what should be the right what is the performance of this, how to find a culprit which is creating your performance worse for your end user. Okay, so yeah, here look at this image, very simple one. Okay, here your applications may run in a different network with a different database, different mobile, different web frame, different platforms, different CDN, different third-party libraries, different browser, different ISPs from the different locations. Okay, and you need to find out which responses are not as per the standard benchmark. So you need to do the monitoring end to end. Look at this from the customer to browser, browser to ISPs, ISPs to your DNS to the different microservices, different microservices to the backend, which is a database or different payment gateway, third-party libraries, and all stuff. So you need to find out which is causing a problem for the worst, performance issues. Okay, where is the problem? Look at this here. As a developers, you would like to know that where is the problems. So you requested and total execution time is 22,764 milliseconds as per the image on top. Where is the problem? Is this a Java call? If you look at this image here, this is the code label tracing. Like one class file will call another class file, another class file will call another method will call another method, and stuff like that. Because when you make a request, it's not like only one class file which is, or only one jar file, only one module, only one services, only one microservices will perform your response time. You have to trace at the various labels where is the problem. So where is the problem in this? This is the example of the code, and if you look at this image, can you find out where is the problem? Son, can you find out where is the problem?
I saw slow request processing time more than 22,000.
Yeah, that's overall time. That's a 22,764 milliseconds. It's a overall time. But where is the problem in this image?
Slow. Database
Ram?
slow.
Ram?
Database queries execution time is
Database.
more.
That's what the question is. You should ask yourself, how do we get this information? That's the question you should ask. How do we get which classes is taking how much time, which method is taking how much time, which third-party library is taking how much time? So how do you to set up that infrastructure and with the productions? So you'll get this query, this visualizations you get. So here you have to look at this. If you look at this, here you have to do database monitoring also. Here you have to do active queue monitoring also. You need to do the SAP, which is third-party library monitoring also. Here you have to do HTTP monitoring also, Java monitoring also. And if you do end-to-end monitoring, then you will come to know, okay, the any request which is coming to the applications and they are tracing, the trace is going and creating on transactions, and which traces is taken how much time and also. So this is your job to create this visualizations. Okay, so there are certain benefits again we have through APM. Of course, I will not deep dive into this here, which will APM benefit, which includes business continuity, better end user experiences, greater customer satisfaction, higher productivity, decreased reliance on costly experts, greater innovation, reduce operational cost, higher Google ranking, and intangible benefits taking emotions out of the equations. So these are the things. But the question is, how do we do the APM? So basically, there are two methods which we use for doing the APM, agent and agent list. Okay, so in AppDynamics, both are possible. Okay, using you can do through agent and you can do also through the agent list. So if you look at this right side, the image application performance management has a multiple dimensions of it and areas to focus also. Okay, so application management performance is covering the broad area, which include end user experiences, runtime application architecture, business transaction, deep dive component monitoring, analytics reporting. Now, if you talk about this end user experiences, then you have to focus area should be the RAM. RAM means real user monitoring, which can be run through the agentless also. Okay, when you talk about the runtime application architecture, then you have to monitor the important business transactions and snapshot different cloud apps and stuff like that. Business transaction again, user defined transactions you can monitor. Deep dive component monitoring again, runtime environment, for example, J2E, .NET, Java, and all stuff like that, middleware, and all stuff like that. Now, analytics and reportings collect raw data, set common set of matrices and averages and percentiles. So these are the things which we have to focus on it. So again, two ways you can do APM, agent and agentless. In agent-based solution, what we do, we inject the code inside the application itself, and then that agent send the data to the APM tool, and that's where we get to know, okay, what was the transaction traces, what was the time for the each request in terms of traces. Now the question is, did you understand this agent-based solution, all of you?
Yeah, so agent based is something you need to install on the box uh, or for application. Agentless is something we need not to install anything
Yeah.
on our
So here
box or
little
application.
different. Here little different. Okay. So understand that. Just imagine. Okay, you need to understand. I need some images for this. So you have to understand this concept very clearly. This is my virtual box. Okay. And inside that, what we do, we install Java. Okay. So this is the VM. It could be any VM, and here you have Java. Okay. Now, after that, inside that, you have Tomcat. And then finally, you will have your app. Okay, so right now I'm discussing the Java frame. Okay, so are you comfortable with this architecture?
I'm okay.
Yeah. So now the question I said, the agent based APM monitoring basically is not like installing some tool at the VM level. No, I'm not saying that. Not at the VM level. I'm saying agent need to be installed at the JVM level here or Tomcat level here. Okay, I repeat, either you install with the Tomcat level or either you install with the JVM level. Okay, so that is an agent based in APM concept. So in a simple way, let's say if you want to install some agent in a Java, then what you will run typically? Will run some jar file. So yes, agent based authentications. Agent based APM in which you have to install some. In case of Java file, in case of Java, you have to install jar file and Python file, or let's say .NET, you'll have some exes and stuff like that. Are you understanding?
So jar file we need to install
At
a
a
plugin into
Tomcat
the
level
at
or Java
Tomcat
level.
level.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is the agent. You know what? So now let's say the end user is hitting the Tomcat, correct? So end user will hit the Tomcat. Now Tomcat will do the traces. So calling this method to this function, this to this class, to this class, to this class, to this class, all these things happen. So basically Java, if you monitor Java, you get to know all these traces actually. From here to travel to this class, this method, this class, this method, this microservices, this services and stuff like that. So all these things, this guy can ask a Tomcat, and Tom can add Java. So this guy will get all information. What are the traces in terms of performance traces, and this guy will send it to AppDynamics APM tool. Are you understanding now?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
So this will be collector actually. So that is what I'm talking about. That is what I'm talking about. How do we obtain APM data? So we obtain through agent. Agent means it's a bold injected within application. The code, the piece of software, okay, is injected within an application. Is that clear for all of you?
Yep, I'm good.
Yeah. Right, soon.
Yes.
Now, agentless is very simple. It's like spanning the network port actually. Okay, so this agentless is basically you will hit to the network, the domain name and port number, and you will say, okay, if I'm requesting, I will see that how much of response time you get it, and that you can keep a track of on APM tools like AppDynamics and get it working. But the disadvantage of this is you will get the overall response, but you won't get a internal traces actually. Just like this class to that class to this class, something like that. The one which I said, no, you won't get this one. You won't get this one. Okay, you will get the high level, but you won't get this one because you are hitting at the network port. So ultimately, which particular method, which particular file which has been covered, you won't get it through this. Are you understanding now, agentless?
Yeah, Raju, I have a quick question. So, if let's suppose in the previous scenario, DB is taking a lot of time. So, in that
Hmm.
overall architecture, I have just installed on my VM, like you said, at port level, not integrated to my Oracle database. So, in that case, I will
Hmm.
lose what queries and all that information I cannot
Correct.
get.
Yes, yes.
But layer level, I will get info, whatever you shown on the
Information.
picture, right?
Yeah.
That will
Yes.
be visible, but queries, what queries taking time and all that, I won't get it.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay,
Whether
yeah,
the view
got it.
taking is time, insert is taking, create, CRUD, DML, DDL, which is taking time, you won't get it. But you will get to know, okay, database is a cause of, is a source of all problems. So now what you have to do? You have to read the database log file, and then you can find out which queries has taken how much files. Rather than doing that, you start doing the monitoring of database also. Getting your points?
Yeah. But development teams are fearing on installing it, integrating with application because of overhead something. Yeah,
No, but
that
these
is
these agents are very lightweight actually, very lightweight.
okay. Yeah, it has a pros cons, but yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, correct.
Okay, so this is the one. So what are the things to do in order to do the application performance? First thing, you have to collect, then you have to store somewhere, then you have to check the data, stream it somewhere in the dashboarding solution. You can archive for the backend and query and do the analysis of that data. These are the things. So end goal of APM is simple. You should get automated reports, you should get alerts, warning signals when your response time of your transaction start increasing. Red flag should be aware. When a transaction start failing, a developer already knows of the issues because the APM team has already reported on the trending data. So this is the end goal of APM. Now the question is, when you go for selecting the which APM tool is good for you. Though we are talking about AppDynamics today, but you have a certain criteria to decide. You should, before going and selecting the APM, you should see that whether APM tool is supporting all of your languages which you have or not. For example, Java, Ruby, Python, .NET, or something like that. Also, you should check whether the APM tool is a developer familiar or not. That means developers are easy to use. I mean, the tool is easy for use for the developers or not. Again, you should check that whether it's easy to use, set up, diagnose, and fix or not. And integration supports are there, and pricings as per your criteria is not. These are just a guide for selecting the APM tool. Okay, so now here list of popular APM tools are available, which you can see that. So New Relic APM you have, AppDynamics APM you have, Single FX, which is a part of Splunk now, is we have Elastic APM, you have Stackify, Trace APM you have, Datadog also APM we have. So out of which we were focusing today in this session, Datadog, sorry, AppDynamics. So challenges. So there are certain challenges you need to also understand. Earlier, what we used to happen, earlier we used to run application in a very small scale actually. So one application, 3 large server, one database, one data centers, and stuff like that. That was easy to monitor. But now, if you look at this current trend, nowadays we are not running in the virtual machines also. We are running in containers, okay, Docker containers, and we are not having services. We have a microservices, and each of the microservices is installing the different is developed in the different programming language. For example, some of the microservices is running in the Python, Java, .NET, Perl, this Ruby, different languages. Again, some of them are small, some of them are big, some of them are in public cloud, some of them in private cloud, some of them are using the MySQL, some of them are using MS SQL. Different database, different region, different deployments, different releases. So it's like a very difficult to trace that APM stuff. Okay, that's a challenge. Also, different teams will ask for the different input. Okay, if you look at this, different team will ask for different input. For example, let's say Java engineer will ask you, okay, tell me that what are the error rate of my Java application. But here BP is asking, tell me what is the spend on that particular regions for the traffic, whatever you're getting. And web developer will ask whether your database flowing down Rails or something like which is a web server, and how SRE guys will say how can you improve deployment to Amazon EC2. So everyone has a different priorities in terms of API. So we need to bring these operations backend and frontend at one place. And to make this happen, we need to set up metrics, logging, alerting practices for entire team. Okay. So how can we do that? That is, you can do with APM. Okay, so some of the common terminologies, no matter which tool you are going for it, okay, some of the common terminology you need to remember that. For example, number of users. I don't think so you will not understand this. What are the total number of users traffic at a given point of the time? That means I want to know how many total traffic I got per second, per minute, per hour, per day, like that. So that kind of statistics you should be having it. Are you comfortable so far?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, yeah.
hello.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Now there is one more terminology you come to know a lot. Hits per second. That means how many times it got hit my applications and per second. It's very simple. So I'll just skip it. Errors per second. There's some typo. Errors per second. So what is the errors per second? Let's say in 1 second I got 100 traffic, out of which four traffic which is got non 200. Now what is the non 200? Non 2x. Sorry, non 2x. What is that?
Yeah, HTTP status code not equal to 100, which is like
Yeah.
maybe redirect or 4xx or 5xx might be
Yes.
any of.
So you should be comfortable with this one, HTTP verb. Okay. So only 200 is the right thing. So if you look at this here, probably this, I think this is the right. Yeah. So here you see that you have 1x, 2x, 3x, 4x, and 5x also should be there. Okay, it's right side. So 5x. Okay, so 2x is okay. 3x is redirectional. 4x is a client error. 5x is a server error. 4x client error means web server error. 5x means server means app server error. Okay, so this you should be knowing that, and then accordingly what to say, you should have that data. So you should know what are the errors per second you get it. Response time means if I request something and I got a response, what is the time which is taking? Okay, now usually in APM tool you'll see the average response time, not individual response time. Okay, at a dashboard. But if you want to know, okay, this particular request, how much response time it has been taken, that also you can get it at the nucleus level. So yes, that's the response time. You should understand latency. Okay, latency is one of the major metrics while doing APM. Anyone have idea what is the latency?
Latency is
Yes,
the
I
time
know that.
taken for a transaction.
It it look like
Yeah, tell me.
delay, the delay from response.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So latency. So let me tell you here. Latency is one of the key metrics in APM. Now, using the latency, there's a different kind of latency you will come across in APM, like a P99. That's a percentile basically. That's the latency only. P90, P95, P99, P50, P70. All these things are latency actually. Percentile we call it. We'll discuss in details. Okay, but latency is basically to find out, okay, how much it's a part of the response time only, but how much time it has taken, okay, after sending a request, and before sending a request and after receiving the first response. Okay, so let's put it in this way. You, in order to perform the transactions, you do click multiple times here, there, multiple times, page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4, page 5, like that. So that's one of the way to find out that response time. So latency is one of the major keyword. Connect time means this basically will check how much time it has taken for the handshaking. Okay, SSL handshaking or HTTP is just connection, how much time it has taken. Bytes per second, it's a throughput basically. That means if you send a request, okay, it give you the response, and then when you get the response, what is the size of the response you are getting per second? What is the size of it? That's it's in the bytes. Okay, so this measurement, the amount of data flowing to and from the servers, that basically it's a bytes per second throughput. Okay, standard deviation, actually this is the algorithm. I will not discuss too much in detail for time being, but just I'll make you comfortable. You need to know all this keywords in order to become comfortable with APM. Okay, standard deviations. Again, there are more than 6 to 7 formulas we have, which is related to standard deviations. We'll discuss one by one, but yes, at a high level, I'm just telling you, standard deviation is a measure of dispersion with respect to the average, how much the values vary with respect to their average or how far apart they are. Okay, so that means, let's say your average response time is 5 seconds. Okay, that's the average response time. So sometime what happens, you want to know, okay, that's the average response time, which is 5 seconds. From there 5 seconds, how much is the current traffic, the response time, how much is deviations? Okay, so it's 7, it can be 7 seconds also, it can be 2 seconds also. So something like that. It's algorithm which works on it and try to give you that deviations for that. Percentile. I think if you're in India, I don't know about the Vietnam, but India, I think we have this one very popular. Percentile, which is in CBSE percentile, you know. Same thing actually. So algorithms is same thing, but this calculation is done based on the performances and response times, you know, number of requests and the response time. So percentile basically is a way to find out, let's say out of 100 traffics, tell me that what are the traffic, what is the response time for the 90% of my traffic, 90% of my traffic, or 95% of my traffic. It's a part of the latency only, okay, or 50% of the traffic, something like that. So sometimes we say, right, okay, this the server is going slow for the few requests, but if I look at this, 95% of the people are happy with the response time, or 99% of people are happy with the response time, but only 1% is the problem where we need to fix it. Are you able to understand this?
Yeah, I used,
Yeah.
I believe, percentile, but standard deviation a bit. But percentile, I used every in Splunk dashboards.
Yeah, so it's related to latency only, and we will use in APM a lot actually. Every APM we use a percentile a lot. Average, I think I don't have to discuss with you. What is the average response time? And that calculation is very simple also, so we don't need to discuss. But yeah, total number of requests by the response time, and then whatever you get it per second, per minute, it can be anything. You get it, that average response time. Now there is a one thing you need to understand, and that is trace versus transaction. Okay, so what is trace and what is the transactions? You need to understand very well. So here, trace is basically the response time between the two endpoint. Okay, now please understand that trace is basically the time which is basically response time between the two endpoints, and these two endpoints can be, let's say, web server to app server to database server also. So this is one trace. Let's say web server to, I'll just draw the picture, it'll be easy for me to explain it. So here, if you look at this, this is a, here there's a, this is the web server, okay, and this is the app server. Now forget about the Tomcat and all. So now let's say this is you, and you hit the web server, and web server process something here and then send to the app server, and app server, here your database, and here that app server is sending that request to the database. At a high level, I'm just explaining it. So you know what, this could be one trace. This could be one trace. Here also, between the browser to your web server, it could be one trace. Okay, now here if you look at this and dive at the code level, let's say there's one class file is calling the another class file. Let me change the color. So there's one class file, it's calling another class file, another class file, another class file, like that. So this is also, it can be trace. This is a trace at the code level. Okay, these all are trace, and trace is depicted in the milliseconds or whatever it is. Are you able to understand that?
So trays are like I mean various types and application code level network trays.
Yes,
That's
yes,
what you
yes.
mean.
Many will.
Database.
Now the question is, what is a transaction then? So transactions also has a various types. Okay, I'll not confuse you too much, but here this trace plus this trace plus this trace plus this trace plus this trace and this trace is equal to one transaction.
Agree.
Means
Correct.
multiple trace plus multiple trace plus multiple trace is equal to one transaction. This is one simple definition of transaction. But you know what? I'll tell you the transactions, it can be customized also. For example, let's say, just imagine, I think all of you must have done the shopping in Amazon, right? For sure. I don't know whether Amazon is available in Vietnam or not, but in India, we do the shopping a lot, right? So let's say you log in. Okay, you log in and this you created all this thing. Okay, now here multiple database servers are there. You did search, you cart, you check out, you paid the amount, you did a hell lot of things actually. For that you use the application microservices 1, 2, 3, 4, something like that. So that's what user has done on a web server, what this user has done in the web server, what user has done in this database, that database, and the third-party library. That also you can call it as a one trace. So definition of traces are little broader actually. Sorry. That also you can call it one transactions, because this user he might have done some checkout, some order, some not checkout. So your job, one of the job is to find out, okay, if user has, this is called business transaction. Okay, one of your job is to find out, okay, tell me that users who has logged in, searched, added the product in the cart, but he has not did the checkout. Are you understanding, all of you?
Yeah.
Hello. So that also you can make it as
Yeah.
a transaction. Okay, so you need to find out, okay, tell me the list of user who is having a product in the cart but not make a payment. So we need to send out events for that. Event means, sorry, this one, what is it? Notifications saying that, hey, you have a product in the cart, please check out, this discount is there, that discount is there, and stuff like that. Make sense? One more important things I must give you the example. Let's say you are tracing the some hacking stuff. So there's one hack has happened. He has logged into web server, he has logged into app server, and he has done some database operations and stuff like that. Now probably you got to know this hacking has happened, but the question is, what this hacker has done in the web server, what the hacker has done in the app server, what the hacker has done in the application server or database server. How do you see that? So you have to create a transaction for the multiple traces, and then you have to connect, and then transaction you can find out using the transaction ID. So transaction has a multiple perspective of it. So yeah, did you understand the trace at a high level?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm good.
Okay, so now I think we understood the trace. Yeah, these are the phases of 1, 2, 3, and we find out the traces. Now, if you look at this image here, user has got the results through the application, but through the application, if you look at this, multiple transactions, multiple requests, multiple microservices he has traveled. He has traveled from Node to external services, PHP to Java to Ruby, and different. So these all are traces actually. You have to get that as part of the transactions. So yes, these are the tools which I have shown you previously also. These are the complete list of tools for APM only. New Relic, AppDynamics, Dynatrace, Scout, Scatify, TraceView, Datadog, Application Insight, and Site 24/7 Managed Engine. Okay, so these are the all the tools which we have it. Now there's one algorithm which you have to understand. I'm not going to explain you in detail, but AppDynamics, how it works and all, I'll explain to you when I will show you the dashboard, because that way it will be more correlated. So you should know what is AppDynamics score. It's very important metrics. Percentile, I think we have explained it to you. In detail, we'll get into that. So we'll try to find out the median percentile, average percentile, 90th percentile, and all stuff like that. You need to become comfortable. Look at this. This is one of the very simple example to find out the percentile. Look at this here. This is the total 100 requests is there. If you look at this, out of this there's a table latency. So the 1 second has been taken for the 5 user, 2 second has been taken for the remaining 5 user. Like that, if you see that 7 second has been taken for the last 4 user, and then 8 second has been taken for the 1 user. Now from the you look at the percentile, you calculate the percentile from the least to the most. Okay, so here if you look at this, if you try to find out what is the P99 percentile, then what is the second you will see? Tell me. If what is the percentile for the P99?
Generally, what I do, like I
7
sort
seconds.
the
7
numbers,
seconds.
right?
Look
So,
at this, no image.
I saw 7 seconds.
Yeah, why 7 seconds? So here if you see that 5 to, look at the number of requests, 5 to 4,
Number.
that is the 99%, right? And what is the 99% of the people, what is the latency you got it? 7 seconds. But if you say what is the 80 percentile? Can you tell me what is a P80 percentile?
Number 40, right?
80 percentile, P80. Tell me what is the latency for that?
I second.
5 seconds, correct, 5 seconds. Are you understanding, Ram?
Uh, 5 seconds. We are saying like 4 seconds is 50.
Okay, I'll upload it.
P50, right?
Probably you got lost in this. Okay, just a second. It's very simple to calculate, so we need to understand.
Confused.
See here. I want to know very simple thing. Tell me that what is the 99% of the people, what is the best latency? Best latency. So if you see that this is 99%. What is the latency? 7 seconds. That means 99% of the people are getting the response time in 7 seconds. Simple. Now I will ask, hey, tell me that what is the 80 percentile? P90, P80. So here is this is the P80. So this is the P80, 80 percentile, because here 15 plus 19 plus 1, this is the 20, right? 80%. What is the best one? 5 seconds. So this is the P80, 5 seconds. Let's say P5, 1 second. P20, 3 seconds. P70, 4 seconds. P99, 7 seconds. So the problem here is you have a P99 7 seconds. So 1% of the people are having the response time which is more than 7 seconds. Why? This is a culprit. Find out why. Why this 1%? Let's say you say, okay, my standard benchmark is 7 seconds. So this is the culprit. Only 1% of the traffic you have to troubleshoot. Are you understanding now, Ram?
Yeah, got it now. Yeah.
So this is a percentile rule we need to understand, and without a percentile, we'll not be able to do the APM. Average score, percentile, latency, all these things you have to remember. So yes, we always work with the benchmark like 99th percentile, 95th percentile, 90th percentile, and all stuff like that. So we will see that those percentiles sooner in the dashboard. Okay, so these also examples of the percentile we'll discuss in detail. I'll just make you comfortable. There's one more algorithm which we need to understand, median, P50. Okay, that is also is very important metrics for the APM. Average also, you understand that median versus average you need to understand. I'm not discussing too much right now because with a graph we'll be able to understand. Percentile versus average we need to understand. Median versus average, percentile versus average, and how can we use percentile for tuning and all stuff. These are some of the graphs which you have to make it comfortable. And you need to understand what is the anomalies. I'm not discussing again. I'm making you comfortable. What is the anomalies? There are different algorithms to find out the anomalies. You need to understand what is a forecasting algorithm in APM. Okay, forecasting, future forecasting. I'm just going fast a little bit. You need to understand what is the outliers. Okay, this is also powered by algorithm. You need to understand what is a difference between anomalies and outliers. You need to understand derivatives, anomalies versus derivatives, and so on. So these are the things which you need to know as part of APM. So please remember that some of the metrics which I said: request per second, throughput, AppDex score, percentile, P 99, 90, 75, 80, 50, all this stuff, anomalies, derivatives, forecastings, outliers, all these are algorithms, and based on that, you can do APM. Make sense, all of you?
Along with that, you can access our other tutorials such as Docker, Ansible, Jenkins, Terraform, Splunk, AWS, Azure, and various other DevOps related premium tutorials with our channel membership. If you would have any issues with our channel membership, you can drop an email to us at contact@devopschool.com, or you can also unsubscribe from channel membership anytime if you don't want to continue or did not like the video. To get our channel membership, click onto the join button, select the 3D99 plan, and grow your skills immensely. Please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment any of your doubts and queries. We will reply to them at the earliest. Thanks for watching.
Hello everyone, if you would like to access the remaining videos of this playlist of 50 plus more tools which are coming under DevOps, DevSecOps, SRE, DataOps, GitOps, etc. Kindly become our channel members by clicking on the joining button. You would have access to 100s of playlists and 1000s of videos lifetime access with this membership. Enjoy.